Howdy, folks. I'm Colonel Sanders, and you're not. I've been getting a lot of comments lately on Uncle Harley, who is Colonel Harlan Sanders, founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and whether he stole the recipe or not. I've gotten pretty heated in the past because I don't back down from this, and I don't care how anybody else feels about it. This is my family legacy. I know what the truth is, and that's all that really matters. But I want to share the truth with all of you, too. And I've made thousands of videos in my lifetime on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and about 100 of those are me covering this rumor of Miss Childress, him owning slaves, him stealing it from his mother-in-law, his wife, his first wife, his second wife. I've heard it all. Even a bar in Pennsylvania has accused him of stealing their recipe. I've heard all the rumors, and they're all untrue. And what a lot of people boil it down to is him owning a slave and stealing it from a black woman who was a slave or servant of his. It's just completely inaccurate, complete falsehoods that people would spread this. And today, with there not being a whole lot of people left alive that knew Uncle Harley personally, there's a lot of people online that don't know him, doesn't know their family, and they spread it around like they know it's fact that he owned a slave and stole the recipe from a slave. Now, when it comes to Miss Childress, we already went through this. Her image was stolen from the Ladies' Home Journal magazine. Her real name was Sarah, and for what I could get in that article, her last name was Clark, because they refer to her as Sarah and then Miss Clark throughout the article in 1925 about Snowdrift. That image was stolen out of there and given a fake name and story. Therefore, Sarah Clark's story is erased, her name is erased, and her image is given a lie. And we cover that. But a lot of people, now they can't deny that. They looked at that, they fact-checked it, they found out that what I was saying was true, but they want to believe that Colonel Sanders stole the recipe simply because he was white. But nobody focuses in on any other fast food chain, any other chicken joint. I mean, we got Chick-fil-A, we have Church's Chicken, we have Popeyes. And nobody ever looks at them and says, did they steal the recipe from a black person? They look at Colonel Sanders because he's the most famous example. I mean, you don't see Popeyes doing little things like this or little things like this and little cameos here and there. They're not as popular. They're good, but they're not as popular as Colonel Harlan Sanders. Their founders aren't as iconic. So people focus in on the iconic man that is dead, and for years none of the family ever decided to do anything about this, say anything about it. The company doesn't bother to address it because they have better things to do than get into controversial topics, but it's not controversial. Colonel Sanders did not own a slave. He was born in 1890. From all the records I could see of his family, where he comes from, his mother and father and their branches, they served for the Union in the North during the Civil War. His great-grandfather Matthew Clegg served in the Civil War. That should give you a time frame of when Colonel Sanders was born versus when the Civil War happened. So him owning slaves is off the table. He did not own servants. He couldn't afford a pot to pee in. He was born on a poor Indiana farm. He grew up poor most of his life. When he was 16 years old, he lied about his age, joined the army. When he came back, he didn't like his stepfather. His father died when he was 5. He didn't like his stepfather. So he moved to Alabama with his uncle and his brother, my great-great-grandfather. That's where he met his first wife, Josephine, who people say he stole the recipe from her, but she didn't know how to cook. He had an instructor on how to cook. He taught her how to cook. What people ask about all of this stuff now, and one question I'm getting a lot here, is when did white people begin cooking? When did white people begin using seasonings? A lot of people look at Colonel Sanders as if he was the first white person to use seasonings in his food. But that's untrue. Church's Chicken was founded in 1952, the same year that Colonel Sanders was. There was no way to pinpoint who the first white person was that used seasonings or how they got it. This isn't the Krusty Krab. We're not stealing the recipe for anything. How recipes are made, and my uncle was very clear about how he made his chicken seasoning. You take certain seasonings for something else, like sausage, and certain seasonings for something like dressing, and you take some ingredients out of those and you combine them to make another good seasoning. And you keep doing that until you come up with a recipe that you like for the food that you're making. That's how he made it. He may have taken ingredients that he knew from other recipes and create a new recipe from those ingredients. I mean, somebody who made the recipe for pizza did not invent those herbs and spices. They used those, and that combination was their own. Whether they choose to share to keep it secret was on them. So, using inspiration from other seasonings is not stealing an idea. It's not stealing anything. Much like his pressure fryer was inspired off of the pressure cooker and broiler system. He modified what already existed to create something new. Then Winston came along in 1967, and between 1967 and the 70s, he created something new based on Uncle Harley's original design and created the Clutch-O-Matic fryers. These are key components in the history of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but people look at it as he stole the recipe because he was white. That's not the case. If you want to get into his ethnicity, where his origins come from, his ancestors, they have been traced all the way back to England, Scotland, and Ireland. And Scotland has its hands in the history of frying chicken, such as battered chicken. Fried chicken has its history and roots in African culture, in African American culture, and in Scottish culture, and ancient Asia. It has ties spanning thousands of years. And over time, those methods have been combined and inspired off of to create what we have now. That doesn't mean somebody stole the idea. Southern fried chicken was a thing before Uncle Harley did it. He did not invent fried chicken. He invented a better way of making it, a faster way of making it that shaped the fast food industry. He created a recipe he believed to be the best blend. Now, his nephew Lee created another recipe he believed that it was better than the Colonel's recipe. That's up for you guys to decide. You can still get both of them so long as you get a good franchise of Lee's Famous Recipe or Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is why I do what I do. I get on here just to educate people on the history of Kentucky Fried Chicken and my family history. I got tired of seeing a lot of misinformation spread around the internet, a lot of hate spread around when people don't even know why they're hating. So look to someone else that actually deserves it rather than looking at Colonel Sanders. He did not steal the recipe, and I'm putting that myth to rest, period. If you like this content, please follow me here on YouTube. I have 320,000 followers on TikTok, 67,000 on Instagram. They all follow for the lore, but they don't get it as in depth as they do on YouTube here. So if you like what you see here, I have thousands of videos covering the history, short videos and deep dives into mini docu-series films that I made. And if you want to learn more, maybe I didn't cover it, maybe I didn't cover it clear enough to where you understand it, I'll be happy to answer your questions in the comments. If I had already answered those questions, I'll link you the video. I'll go look the video up myself and link you the video of me already answering that question in the past. Thank you for watching. Ciao.